Whee! Okay, that's enough. Alright, I'm your host, Jason. This is 2 Buck Red Outdoors. What we're going to do today is we're going to be reviewing a couple of guns that I really like, that I think are good for deer hunting. And this is my personal opinion. I'm not paid to review anything. I'm just reviewing what I have, what I did. I'm going to explain a few things, give you some tips that maybe you might want to follow, not follow. I definitely recommend, before you go into the woods to go hunting something, make sure you have all the tags, you know what you're doing, you know your areas. You know, make sure you're doing the legal thing, doing it right, and you're being safe as humanly possible. Nobody wants to get shot by their own gun. Anyway, that being said, in my personal opinion, the best brush gun for Southeast Texas will always be good old Grandpa's 30-30. Okay, always. All right, this particular one is a Winchester Model 94. I've had it for a long time. Put my first deer down in Montana with it, actually, from about 150 yards, give or take. One shot was all that took. He never took another step. 30 calibers, got a lot of weight to it. You can get great ammo for this gun. Hornady is big fan of Hornady ammunition. They make lever evolution for this stuff. I think they got some Federal Precision, and you can turn this from a 150 yard gun to a 250 yard gun. And hit pretty precise with it. And if you hit something with a 30 caliber bullet, you know, it's going to feel it. It's probably likely not to take another step. Now, my first year hunting again, I took about a 8 or 9 year break. Moved to Texas from Montana. Decided I want to go out hunting again this last year. Went out with this a few times. Love it. Didn't have any issues with it. But being as it was my grandfather's, God rest his soul, I noticed that this part of the rifle, I don't know if you can see it here, it's not rusty, but the patina and the bluing has come off of it. And I've just babied this rifle ever since I've had it, and that happened anyway. I don't know if that had to do with the humidity in Southeast Texas, but I mean, I've always oiled this rifle and cleaned it. But, you know, after a few trips into the woods this year, I just didn't want to get it in any worse shape than it is. I'd like to be able to give it to my son when he's old enough. And, you know, nothing wrong with it. It shoots great. I'll take it to the range every chance I get. However, I do have to point out, if you get one of these older Winchester 94s, there ain't no padding on that, okay? 30-30s don't typically kick real hard. These older ones, you kind of feel it a little bit. It's not horrible, but if you're not holding it tight to your shoulder, you're definitely going to feel it a little bit. I know a few people that this particular 30-30, and I'm not saying they all do, or even all Winchester Model 94s do. For some reason, this one kicks a little harder than most of the ones that I've seen. But as long as you hold it right, you know, it won't kill you or anything. But it'll definitely kill whatever you pointed at. So that's that. Now, here's what I decided to hunt with. Now, in Southeast Texas, the brush is thick. If you've ever been out in the woods in Southeast Texas, you just know it is a nightmare. And that's coming from a guy who's walked through alder thickets in Alaska. Okay, so Southeast Texas, there's just nothing like it when it gets into the heavy cover and brush. You know, a deer can be 10 feet from you in the brush, and you ain't gonna see him because it's just so thick with vine, and I mean, you name it. So here's what I recommend. If you're gonna hunt in Texas you never have before, a lot of people are gonna spend money and they're gonna go and get a deer lease, and there's nothing wrong with that. Heck, it's a lot easier than hunting public land, I'll tell you that. But if you don't have the money, like I didn't really have, and you kind of like to do things that are a little bit more of a challenge, and you want to hunt public land, I suggest you do it out of a tree stand if you're going to do it in Southeast Texas, and get there before light. All right. If you get there before light, in Southeast Texas particularly, the deer are going to go, they're going to feed, they're going to do what they got to do, and they're going to come back somewhere between, you know, depending on the time of year and season, but for me, it's going to be between 6:30, you know, light gets light 6:30, 6:45. It's going to be between 6:30 and 8 or 9. Okay, I probably won't sit in that tree stand past 10 or 11. I'll get out, take a break, go have lunch, whatever, and maybe come sit in for the afternoon or what have you. But I tend to have the best luck in the middle of the day in the morning, and that's about the size of that. So let's get on with it. This is what I decided to take whitetail deer hunting this year. I know, right? A lot of people right off the bat are going to be like, oh my god, you're hunting deer with a 223? How many shots did it take? Just one. Used a 75 grain ballistic tip hollow point Hornady. And as long as you know what you're doing and you actually are a decent shot and you know when you pull that trigger that you're in the right spot, you're breathing right, you know it's a good shot, you should be good to go. I've never pulled the trigger on an animal without knowing that shot was perfect. Absolutely, I've never wounded one. They've all been quick kills. And I've hunted in a lot of different states, Alaska, Montana, Texas, what have you, Colorado. And I gotta tell you, caliber is not as important as you think if you're a good enough shot and you know your yardage and you know your gun. Okay, so here's what I did. When I bought it, this is just a regular old Ruger AR-556, nothing super special about it, but came with this, alright? Adjustable stock, they all come with it, alright? When I bought this stock, alright, you notice it's got this big plastic pad, it didn't have that on there. I bought it and put it on there. Not because the recoil was big or horrible or anything like that, okay? But because the slant on that just was not comfortable in my particular shoulder. It might be in other people's, and I know it's more of a tactical stock or what have you, but I hated it. Couldn't stand it. So, put that pad on it, and that gave it more of a curvature and an arc, not just like a straight down angle, because it was more of an angle like that. So, anyhow, put that on there, and it was a lot better. Loved it. Was fine. Went out hunting with it, though, and even without rattling that, it just seemed to make a lot of noise when I was walking with it, and I didn't like it. So, back to the basics. Went and got me A2 stock. It's got a little handy little storage case there, which is awesome. Alright, and I'm sure there's plenty of rednecks out there be like, you're going to need something that packs more of a punch than that old AR-15, you might need 30-30. Well, yeah, not the case, okay? So, now, a lot of people might not like Bushnell scopes, alright? When I was younger, I was told they were cheap and junk and yada, yada, yada. Did a little bit of online research or whatever, and I didn't want to spend a ton, so I got a Bushnell scope, 4-9 power, and it's specifically made for AR-223 rifles. It's an MOA scope, and I absolutely love it. It hits great. Couldn't be happier with it. The whitetail I shot, nice little 8-point buck I shot this year. Perfect shot. The bullet went right where I wanted it to. This gun has no problem pushing anything from 55 to 75 grains. I've never had a jam out of it. I'm probably somewhere between the 700-800 round mark. And it's just a great all-around brush gun. Pretty much any carbine that you get is going to have about the same length barrel. One thing I also did to it was put a VG6 Epsilon muzzle brake on it. Now, again, not because the AR-15 kicks. It doesn't. I mean, this thing has such a light recoil, it's ridiculous. However, I'm a big fan of getting back on target if you need to as fast as possible, alright? When you have a muzzle brake on anything, it's going to reduce the jump and all of that good stuff and yada yada yada. Now, if you put this on here, it's going to make this AR quite a little bit louder, so you might want to think about that. Me personally, I don't need a can. I use earplugs. I'm not planning to snipe somebody, or do I need to be that quiet? No, I don't. Can's just not for me. I'm not going to spend the extra money so I can just say, hey, look at my AR, it's got a silencer on it, woo! And I don't have to use earplugs as much. Well, you know what? Nah, yeah, I'd just rather use the earplugs. For $2.99 at Walmart, you can get yourself, a set of triple flange earplugs, and you're good to go. So, anyway, this is what I used. Public land, whitetail, nice 8-point buck. I'll get, pictures posted up there at some point. But, if anyone has any questions on how to set up an AR, how to set up a scope, how to paint a scope. I do all kinds of DIY stuff. I'd be more than happy to paint a scope for somebody. And until I really get my name out there and get big, I can do some for free. Just be nice to get a new hobby going on. It's really nice to get back into hunting and back into rifles. And unfortunately now I'm into ballistics too, which is a whole nother ball of wax, and I'll get to that at some point. I'm gonna keep this episode a little bit short for a few reasons. Did a 35-minute first episode on the Colt 45 competition pistol I personally bought that I love, absolutely adore this pistol. Went through the whole review on it and reviewed another gun, which I'm going to call the mystery piece because I'm not going to reveal what it is until episode 2. Went through all of that and realized that the sound was messed up So had to start it over 2 to 3 different times. And anyway, I'm not an editing kind of guy, so definitely not a computer kind of guy in any way. So that's just how it was. Anyhow, you're going to see me quote a lot of old school movies, throw out movie lines here and there. That's just kind of how I am. I'll end up saying them before I even know. You're like, you and your stupid AR-15. I just like to be goofy with it. There's no reason to be serious all the time. I used to be when I was younger, and as I get older, I just realized that you only live once. Have fun. Have some stories to tell when you get older and you got grandkids sitting on your lap. So, anyhow, wish everybody the best. Be safe in the woods. I really hope this channel takes off. I just want the average Joe that wants to hunt or wants to go shoot, Joe, Jane, whoever, anybody in between that wants to own a gun and wants to get into it, hit me up, Jesse5789@mail.com. There's going to be a co-host, Mike M. He will be joining us within 3 to 6 months when he moves to Texas from Colorado. Can't wait for that point, because for some reason when me and him are together, we just we laugh like hell. And he's got a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things. We're going to review all kinds of crazy stuff. So anyhow, going to keep this episode short, about 12 minutes long. Taking requests on things to shoot. Every other weekend I'm going to try to do an episode in the woods shooting something, whether it be a bow and arrow, a big high-powered rifle, a 30-30, a little pistol, a big pistol, a little 22, who knows. Gonna have some co-star, co-hosts and people coming on. Would be really nice. My first guest on the show, I hope, is Mike C. I'm saying Mike C's and Mike M's because I know about a million Mikes. I've got a brother-in-law, Mike. You can't start a party without Mike. Anyhow, so I'm hoping we can take my AR-15, and he just bought a brand new Palmetto AR-15. He's waiting for it to get here, and he wants to take it out and shoot it. And going to the range is fun and all of that, but for me personally, I like to go out somewhere where nobody's going to mess with me. So I just go out in the middle of National Forest. Anything I shoot or blow up, I take a garbage bag out with me, and I bring back everything. I don't leave no trash out there, because who wants to go deer hunting and trip over somebody's frickin' Bud Light can? You know what I'm saying? So be respectful, people. If you're going to pull the trigger on an animal, make sure you're going to hit him in the right spot. Don't wound him. If you've ever had to hear a deer cry, you probably won't hunt again. I've personally had to hear a deer cry, not because I wounded him with a rifle. It was with my car. It was a little baby. He jumped out of the grass. I hit him with the license plate on the front bumper of the car. And unfortunately, hit him in the spine, and he started crying. This was in Montana, and before I could stop the car, I look in my rear view. A guy had already stopped his truck because he saw the whole thing play out. Gets out, cuts the thing's throat with a knife, and throws the thing in his back of his truck and hauls ass down the road. Couldn't make this up if I wanted to. Really happened. So anyway, but hearing that deer cry, I never wanted to make the mistake of shooting one and cause him to make that noise, because it sounds like a 2-year-old crying. Just break your heart. Anyway. Maybe I'm a little bit of a softie, whatever. Yeah, anyway, we're going to take suggestions on anything. I hope this channel takes off. Maybe one day I will get paid to review some stuff, but as it stands right now, I love the Ruger AR-56. Didn't like the stock that it came with, but I think all these adjustable stocks, because there's moving parts in there, are just going to be louder than an old school A2 stock, just be careful. Whatever A2 stock you do decide to buy, watch reviews on it. Anything you do that comes to getting a weapon of any shape or form, or anything just about, go on YouTube. Go on YouTube, watch reviews. You're going to change a part on your car, go on YouTube. It's just that simple. I definitely recommend that to everybody. I don't know how many millions of times I've gone on YouTube and watched reviews on something I was going to buy, or anytime I buy a rifle, I want to see, or a gun, I want to see a video of how it comes apart, how it goes back together, so that me personally, I can learn it and do it myself, and I'll know what I'm doing on that. So be safe, everybody. Always. This is Jason. This is 2 Buck Red Outdoors, episode 1. Again, hopefully the quality of everything will improve once we get going with the show a little bit better. But that's it. I'm signing off. We'll see you either later tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to do episode 2. Thanks, people. Later.